I'd love to know, actually, my first question for you, Maxwell Raeburn.
Thanks for being here, by the way.
Hey, thanks.
My first question for you is, do you find that being on stage and what you give and share on stage, is that like a different emotional energy or a different energy than like if you're just on social media, just sharing your thoughts or just posting things outside of what you do creatively as a musician?
Yeah, I definitely find performing live is a different energy in itself, where I feel like I put in a very chilled approach to performing live, where I have to teach myself, this is for fun. This is creatively just a nice outlet for me to, I don't know, be weird on stage and in a way, yeah, entertain people, because that's what people are paying money for, right? So you want to give them a bit of a show. But in terms of like being present on social media, I have a hard time, I find most of the time, because there's a massive audience, and a lot of the stuff that you put out there is like just woof, it's kind of a black hole in a lot of ways. And so the on-stage performance is a lot of true energy and, like, I don't know, more of myself than, whereas on social media, I try to think of something, also be creative, but also think about how this would connect with someone else from across the world, as opposed to someone remotely just in Saskatoon or wherever in Canada.
That's funny. Like I think I share some of that. I definitely, like, even if I'm posting something personally that's like really nonchalant and has very little meaning, but just like a part of my day, I'll overthink the copy, like the actual text that I'm putting in the
You'll
post.
think about it so much,
and it's ridiculous.
Why?
Yeah.
Do you want to, why?
I want to be concise and like I want
Not
it to
be
be
judged.
witty, and I don't want to be judged, and I want it to be
foolproof.
yeah, and it's so silly, like, because I think about, like, hearing you say it, because I share the same sentiment as you, but like when you say it, I'm like, well, the people that are coming to your show, that's a very captive audience, and if you were to be stressing out, this is from an outsider's perspective, like if you were to be stressing out about like what they're going to think of your content, like wouldn't it be natural that the people that are like, that you have such a captive audience of, like, wouldn't it be those people that should stress you out? But I agree with you. I don't think it's necessarily that way.
And the internet's cruel, like people, no matter what you post on there, there's someone that can take all the time they want as well to like remark back or come up with something witty to like contradict what you're trying to do, maybe.
Right. It's very permanent.
Yeah, and it's just like written history set in stone. And I don't know if people really like think about the consequences enough of what they post on social media. I've seen businesses or bands or just personal people post stuff on the internet where you're like, this is not really helping anyone, reaching out in any way to promote yourself that's positive either, or I don't know. I think people really take for granted the power of the internet and all the social media platforms that are out there. I don't use Twitter though. That's something I've never figured out. I don't get it. I would kind of like, I feel like people that know Twitter are kind of special people to me, because you have I guess, what, is it more than 140 characters or?
I think they've
That's
upped it.
ish. Yeah, that was the original though.
Yeah, and so you only had that to work with, which I thought was kind of cool, but I felt like that was more of like a quip or like a funny, like a way to specialize how you approach media. Like, I don't know, I think it's more of like a funny one-liner kind of joke thing where you have 100, like, because you can't write a whole paragraph, with 140 characters, so it's got to be quick and short and sweet. So I like that about Twitter, but now it's like gotten crazy. It's the fastest news outlet, which is great and weird.
Do you use Twitter at all, Matt?
I do not. I have all the accounts.
I have a Twitter account too, but I just, whenever I post something online, I usually use Instagram, and luckily with that it links to Facebook or Twitter or Tumblr even. I don't know, is Tumblr still a thing?
I don't know. Like I know when like people I follow on YouTube.
Yeah.
They will like those celebrity people who have, let's say, 100,000 or more subscribers. They'll use Twitter, and like on some weird level, they'll communicate with like one guy I follow. Like he'll get direct responses from Elon Musk.
Whoa.
You know, and it's like
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and I follow him because he has like a space or like they call it the everyday astronaut.
Right.
He like basically just talks about new rocket launches and cool tech and whatever. So like that's where Twitter's really cool, is like this guy who doesn't know Elon Musk,
You can
gets
get
a little bit of communication directly with him, which is kind of
Yeah,
neat.
I never thought about it that way.
But on my level, like I'm nothing like to have.
Well, I guess that's the way. I guess the next question, or the best thing is to look at is how does one master those types of medias, you know? When you look at people who have millions of followers and stuff like that, I think they've figured out the system where they know how to post like religiously on the hour kind of thing, or I don't know. I mean, they also have good photographers, I'm sure, who take good photos that are much better than our cameras and then upload it that way. I don't know what the secret is, but there's definitely a way to manage that for sure. And if you know how to do that, you're God.
Well, yeah, it's just like that audience of who it's for, and it's like, you know, like athletes will talk about it, and then reporters will go back to an athlete's tweet, where it's like, well, we're not reporting to anyone, so we'll just wait till the reporter tells us what the tweet was.
Right.
Like, I don't know, like even if you don't have Twitter, you could look on Twitter and when's the last time you used Twitter?
Years ago.
When a Fuse conference every year.
Yeah, I won a pair of sunglasses from Spare Parts a few years ago because of Twitter.
That's awesome.
It's a dead medium, though.
It is. MySpace is
here
dead
it is.
too.
Yeah, here it's a dead medium. I think you got to put an asterisk with that.
I think it's alive in those levels. Like, politicians use Twitter.
Yeah.
I think, influencers or people like in our, let's say, like level of where we operate in society, it's like, this is very philosophical, but yeah, it's like we're using Instagram or Facebook, and it's like
and you can't almost find a business that doesn't do that now. You know, everyone's in the game.
A lot of people are playing amateur hour, though.
A lot of people are. Yeah,
there's a lot of noise. I think at the end of the day, engineers are hired to try and fix algorithms so that content that people will actually care about is rising to the top. Mm-hmm. And fortunately or unfortunately, however you want to look at it, some people will have a huge audience, but they have to talk about one thing. And if they move outside of their lane, their content's going to lose traction. Yeah. And sometimes even if algorithms change, people can lose traction even if they haven't changed anything that they're doing. So you can have something figured out, and then, things can change and you can lose an audience regardless. I know that's a bit of an extreme case, but I think that the one thing that is certain is that it's all very uncertain. And for anybody to be trying to build some sort of stable career or foundation on social media, I think it's really it's something that people should be people that are trying to do that should be very wary of how long that's going to be sustainable or how sustainable that is.
Yeah. Did you see that post on? I shared it on my Facebook. It was some chick. It was on eBombs World. Some girl, an influencer. I didn't look into what the truth was.
Lost her account?
She lost her account, and then she made a video, basically her own reaction video to losing it. Yeah. And how it's unfair. It kind of almost seems like
she said her life was over. Saying
her life's over. Who knows how much income she made from it, but then she was claiming she only moved to LA to not be like everybody else. And it was this kind of a portrait of our society.
Yeah.
Would be how I put it.
It's weird. It's very, for me personally, as a musician, it's very touch and go. I don't try to reveal too much about my personal life I usually try to just keep it only about music, obviously, because that's what I'm promoting. But it is weird also putting, for me at least, this is I'm focusing on my project, my solo project, Raeburn, and it's definitely difficult to not come across as narcissistic or egotistical about yourself, when you're trying to promote yourself too. That's kind of interesting for me, at least. I don't know. I've never been like, yeah, I love myself. I'm the greatest. I'm gonna, like, I do love myself, but at the same time too, I don't brag about it on social media as some people do, I guess.
And this is your passion. You're putting a lot of time and energy into doing this. And how many years does it take for you to put together an album like this? Like this album, how long did it take?
This one was weird because right after I put out my first album, which that took about 4 years of recording samples and ideas, demoing and stuff like that, and going to like real big studios and recording there. And I found over time that I was just tired of doing that or working with other people because it was very expensive and I didn't really have a creative touch in the process of the production or the mixing or anything. I just go in, pay money, and then wait for a mix. So then I started to buy my own equipment and all my own microphones and stuff like that. And I started to learn how to record audio and learn how to mix and do that. And I've been learning how to master. So that's taken time. So the first album took me about 4 years. And I was just taking like field recordings and stuff all the time too. And then this one, so right after I put that out in 2016, I started recording the second one, and it was going, I felt like I think it was like great, everything's moving along great, and everything was very smooth. And then I lost my little cousin when I was camping, and he died on his 22nd birthday. He had pneumonia in his lungs, and it was just totally like out of nowhere kind of thing. And so that took a weird like year or so to get over, maybe like a year and a half, where I just like didn't want to record, didn't have any, like I just didn't really know what to work on. I didn't know like what kind of mood, or vibe I was going for at that point, because it was just like, I don't know, it's just kind of still like pretty fucked up from that. Sorry, I don't know if we're allowed to swear on the show.
Yes, please.
Okay, cool. But so after I lost my cousin, it was I just kind of stopped working on my own stuff, and then I started to record other bands and focus on other projects and stuff like that. And so I kind of just took a break from working on my own shit, and then. I don't know what happened. I just kind of, over time, just kind of was like, oh yeah, I should probably wrap that up or put that work on that and put it out. And then I realized I had like enough tracks, and it's like, okay, yeah. So I just kind of not scrambled, but after taking time and stuff, I just was like, okay, got to get back on the horse. And it was a different vibe too, and the creative process was different. I don't know. I just totally had a totally different approach, where I didn't care as much about like who liked it or what would happen with it. It was just like, just do what you got to do and put it out. So,
do you feel like having that mindset, tracks started coming to you quicker, or like you were able to wrap up or do production quicker on the back end because
I think
of
so.
that?
Yeah, I think I got to a point where it's like, not that I didn't care as much or like put as much effort into it, but it was more like, let's just have fun with this, because who knows if this is going to work out or not, but it's just fun. And so I got to the point where I was like, just sit down, make start off with some guitar, and then and then add some drums, bass, and then next thing I knew it was like, okay, here we go, I have a song. And the process is different after that. So now I'm really stoked to like put that whole chunk of material, well, not aside, but to have that out, and now I have like a fresh, clean slate to, or sheet, sorry. Fresh, clean sheet to start some new material.
And I guess that like that's a lot of things to juggle. Because now you have to, like you were saying before, you have to honor the work that you did over a period of 4 years.
Yeah.
You have to promote it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't sound weird or egotistical for you to say like a lot of your social media content is geared towards like bringing awareness to the thing, the art that you took years to create.
Yeah.
But you have to do that. You have to perform a lot, as much as possible, I would assume.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, like now you have
I'm like
a
working
clean
on my
slate
own.
where you can start fresh with new music.
Yeah.
Clean sheet.
Clean sheet, yeah. Slate sheet, yeah.
Same.
But even like, and then working, like I'll work on I'll make my own music videos too. Like I'll just film stuff as much as possible whenever it hits me, kind of thing. And music videos are weird. I don't know. I probably shouldn't do that by myself. I should probably let someone else kind of take that charge. But
Why?
I don't know. I feel like sometimes.
Do you enjoy it? Or
I do, but I probably wish I had a better computer, because the processing and the CPU is just clipped a lot of the time.
So the reason why I'm asking is like you said that when you first started, you would have other people produce your music for you. Like you get studio time and then they would send you a cut.
Yeah.
And now you're doing it yourself.
Yeah.
Like I would, I'm very naive. I know nothing about this, but I'd love to know like how much different can a song, if you recorded it and sent raw footage off to somebody, and at the same time you cut a version of it, how different could those two versions be? Like, are they going to be?
It could be pretty different depending on who's working on it. I mean, everyone's heavily inspired by different artists or sounds, at least with music. And I feel like a lot of people who do audio add a lot of color to the overall sound that maybe the artist, their intent doesn't get matched with, kind of. Like I just remember working in a few studios where I'd get sounds, it just would sound totally nothing like how I wanted the whole timbre and everything to go. And so what I would do is focus in on every single instrument sound that's coming in and then tweak it until it sounded good to me. Even though I haven't gone to audio engineering school, there's enough YouTube videos out there that you can learn how to make a kick drum or a snare sound really good, depending on how you want it to sound, right? But at the same time, too, I've always heard artists sometimes say you shouldn't mix or edit your own work. You should always get, other people to, their opinion or their point of view to, I don't know, make it more broad, I guess. I don't know. Maybe.
Well, I remember this conversation I had. It was an artist, local one, and they were saying they got it done, their mix done by the people who did the Black Keys.
Yeah.
They're like, and then the person was like, yeah, it does kind of sound like Black Keys-ish. And I was like, I never thought of it like that way. Like, you could get
the same vibe, like, like
it was a Sheepdogs. Like,
oh yeah,
it was they were talking to the drummer, and then he was like, yeah, the guys who did the Black Keys album. And I was like, there's the connection. Feel. Yeah. And I was like, which I like the Black Keys. Yeah. Probably why.
I loved their album Thick Freakness. I think that was one of their first ones, their earlier stuff, where it sounded very garagey, very like kind of lo-fi-esque, and yeah.
So let's say you. Like, it seems like there's two ways to go, and there's not one right way or wrong way. It's just two ways.
Yeah.
Would you ever switch back to a different producer?
I would love to at some point. I mean, I think it'd be really cool to even give like my old albums, if I gave like the raw tracks to a producer or something like that, to mix that album, to their taste and see what they could do with it, because it would be a whole different thing for sure. So.
Does something like that exist online? Like, are there like up and coming producers that for like a discount will?
For sure, there's definitely online like mastering like programs where you send them your file, your audio, and I think it's called Tidal or something. You send them your audio, and then they will master it artificially with AI. But once you master it, you can send it to the community, and I guess other people can try their take at mastering it themselves, or they can pull the files and then work on that. I need to clear my throat. There we go. But yeah, so there's a lot of people out there that do that stuff.
What does the price range for something like that cost to have?
It varies. That's the weird thing about audio too is, I mean, you could have really good equipment and not know what you're doing and charge someone, a shit ton of money, and they probably won't like it, or, maybe they wouldn't, or would, but certain studios, depending on their scale and what kind of equipment, I've seen studios charge up to like $100 an hour, to sometimes even like $50 an hour, which is not bad. I've definitely, I've gotten my first album I got mastered from this company in Tennessee, and that was about $600. But I've seen people get just like their album mastered alone. It could be like $1,000 to $2,000 a song, just per song. It's pretty intense.
So let's talk tech a little bit. I'm kind of curious about this. Like 10 to 15 years ago, like you needed a lot of hardware to make this work. Like, is a computer like a new computer with the right plugins? Can you literally with a mouse and keyboard do the whole thing digitally now?
Yep. You could totally. On the program I use for audio, I use Ableton, and that comes with certain like built-in effects where you could say if you're playing your guitar straight into the computer, essentially, you could emulate like a 2x12 Fender cab, or you could make it. You could just make the audio wave go through an effect plugin and make it sound exactly like an amp. Throw on digital compressors, limiters. You could make it sound full on.
So has that made the industry better? Like, is that where you get guys who can do it for like?
I don't know if it's gone.
Or does it just like make it so more people are playing around?
Yeah,
but the good people are
There's way more bedroom artists and like people who just record all at home, because, running a music studio, I think today is pretty difficult. Unless like exactly what you're doing and you have top end gear, because everyone can just do that shit at home now. You can have a MIDI keyboard and play a drum kit on it, which is it won't, like, you could tell it wouldn't sound very acoustic, obviously, but you could program it in a way where you could have it beat sensitive. So like if you tap lightly on the keyboard, you could have like a light snare tap to so like you could really recreate a whole orchestra on a little shit dick keyboard.
So really, it's just up to an artist to be creative.
Yeah, which is exciting, but at the same time too, you have a oversaturated music world of so many. Everyone's. I noticed this the other day where on Facebook, where you have the friend suggestions, friends you may know, based off people that and every single friend that it showed me, everyone's profile picture, and I'm guilty of it too, is of someone playing a guitar or like playing an instrument or singing, and it's like, fuck, everybody in Saskatoon is in a band, or
the algorithm on Facebook is like, there's guitars in all of these profile pictures.
Let's see.
And the majority of the friends of these people
now Kiss.
Yeah. Mowit.
It's the AI. Yeah.
Together.
I wonder if Facebook would be like the best at picking who your spouse should be. I don't know.
Well, you got Tinder now.
I would love to see a social experiment where like
Tinder for musicians.
50 men and 50 women are like, okay, you were randomly chosen by the algo. We found the perfect match for you. Are you willing to try and be married to this person for whatever 6 months? And just see like what the success rate is relative to just people being like, I met my soulmate at the bar downtown when I was wasted one time.
You're right. Yeah, it's funny how social media has changed, I think, everyone's culture and behavior. I mean, it's funny how like grandchildren will ask their parents how they met, and you're like, oh, just swipe right, like that's kind of the world we live in.
She was the 47th.
It's weird how it's like a dance with the devil, I feel, as a musician, where it's like, yeah, like, I don't know. For me, I like to just kind of be sparse about it. Every other like 4 or 5 days, I'll post something just to like keep a little bit, keep in the game, but also just to, I don't know, just because I feel like it's almost necessity in a way to just keep reminding people that you're existing, you're making music.
Let's talk about like how else do you promote a new album? Like, are you going on radio shows? Are you like, what are you doing? A lot of shows, I would assume.
Yeah, I am playing a festival this summer. I don't know if I can say yet where or what it is because I'm not sure if that's allowed. But yeah, it's funny. I've had the intention of having an album release show, but for this one, I'm not sure if I'm going to do it just because I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it's just one of those things where I'm like, I'm just happy it's out.
Just Beyonce and drop it.
Yeah, I just want to drop it like it's hot and just
with a music video for every track.
Yeah, that'd be so much production. That's a nightmare thinking about doing all that. But in terms of promoting, I've put this album out with Saskatoon imprint Grey Records. They're an awesome little record label. I don't know if they put out the Gary's record actually on vinyl. They're really good. Anyways, they've been really helping out with social media, and in terms of like promoting the album, I've reached out to a few music blogs. I had a track premiered on Cups and Cakes Network. They focus on Western independent music and stuff like that. And yeah, it's kind of, when you're kind of this small of a fish, when you send your stuff to music blogs, chances are a lot of the time, like the bigger ones, you probably won't hear back unless you have a lot of things checked off in terms of like an electronic press kit, if you will. So you have to have a lot of material involved in that in terms of you'd have to have photo headers for YouTube that would be specific for certain dimensions, and then you'd have press photos of all of yourself in all different shapes, sizes, formats, and then short bio, long bio. You have to have kind of like a lot of things planned out when you're applying or trying to send your stuff to media platforms. But yeah, with this one, I'm just kind of trying to share it through online. I'm hoping to eventually maybe get it pressed on cassette or CD or vinyl, but good Lord, it is expensive doing that, especially when you're doing it all yourself.
We were having a conversation a little while ago about like the future of merch tables. Mm-hmm. And or maybe even the slow death of merch tables. Mm-hmm. I was at a show the other day. I was at the Donovan Woods show, and I forget her name. The opening act, she was incredible. But at the end of the show, she just sort of mentioned how she doesn't make a lot of money touring. She makes most of her money through her merch table. Mm-hmm. And that if you really liked what she was doing and you wanted to support, to buy one of her CDs. Mm-hmm. And I just said to my wife, like, we don't even have a CD player. Like, even if I wanted to buy this CD, I have nothing to put it into. Like,
not even a car?
Yeah. And I was like, I wonder if she has a CD player. Like, she's selling CDs, and I wonder if anyone has really thought about the fact that, like, you're trying to sell something that nobody...
Everyone just streams now, you know?
And so, like, what does that look like for an artist now that, like, CDs are basically dead? and records are probably really expensive to produce.
Yeah, luckily vinyls are back. Everyone's super into vinyl. It's on the up, but it's super expensive and it's very hard to find a company that will do it. There's only a handful of companies that have vinyl pressing machines, I believe, that are getting more and more hard to find. I think there's like 3 or something like that in Canada.
So you have to buy the press, like your master,
Yeah, so you get
and
a
then
lacquer.
they have to make each disc or record.
Yeah.
Like, what's your minimum? 1,000 records?
1,000 records, depending on, I guess, where you're ordering from. But I looked into it, and I remember just getting even 100 vinyls pressed was $3,000.
So to sell them for $30 each, you break even.
Yeah.
Except there's shipping. So then
You're probably, you're going to
31.
lose. So in that case, this is where it gets, as an artist, I've learned a lot of lessons over the past few years in terms of...
Is it a vanity thing to have that record, though?
Oh, man.
Like, if you had a merch table with a pile of records, are you like...
If you have
you
records...
would be okay losing money because it says something about you?
Yeah. That's the thing. If you have records at your show, and then you're probably like, oh, okay, people notice. They're like, oh, okay, this is a legit band that is, marketing themselves in a good way, and people take that more seriously. I have T-shirts, and one thing I've been rocking, which has been really actually quite, I find, useful and unique, is I use album stickers. So it's the shape of a CD, it's the size of a CD, but it's an album sticker. So the front is the album cover, and in the back there's a download code. And yeah, they're great. You can slap them on walls, you can slap them on your friends.
Walls. Or your friends?
Yeah.
You mean literally on your friends?
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
It's right there.
Yeah. Put on your. I think one of my friends put my album on their car, even, which is pretty sweet.
That's like where the first thought I had was actually like, everyone's got their
Bumper.
like little kid stickers from like Darth Vader. And whatever.
Yeah.
It's like,
Just your favorite albums. But so I find that those are really great in terms of it's lightweight. You can bring it around. You can everywhere.
WWJD bracelets that just don't say that.
I've seen bands do some pretty creative stuff, like getting Bic lighters with their band name on it, which is a great idea.
That's
because,
a really cool idea.
How many times do lighters go missing? And
I have a lighter in that drawer from a wedding I shot 5 years ago. Actually, that little girl in that picture there, it's her parents' wedding, and that lighter sticks around because I don't.
That's hilarious.
It's like, oh, that's my lighter.
I use the this guy, and I haven't lost that yet. But so I do that, and then like there's pins and I don't know. But for bands that tour, you definitely do need merch because, aside from getting very little pay from what usually venues pay, depending on what your deal is with them. You need to have something as well to compensate and to give to people, because a lot of people get nostalgic-y too about, like people just want to have something to remember their evening by, if it's magical or whatnot.
I actually love shirts.
I have too many band shirts.
And keychains for some stupid reason. I'm a keychain and shirt guy.
There's not enough band keychains, that's for damn sure. I'm going to look into that.
And coffee mugs. When I travel, I'm looking for shit from my kitchen. Like, I have this bottle opener at home. It's like a Mickey Mouse head, but it's like super heavy and super.
Ooh.
And it's
if it's
silver.
heavy, it means it's good.
And you can like spin it because the ball's heavy enough. So the head's the ball, then the 2 ears, then the bottle opener. And it's like I went to Disney World like 10 years ago, and like it still sits in my drawer. It's like I have all these other shitty Mexico ones that bend when you open a bottle, and then this one's like pops it off, just fits in your hand. That's
awesome.
I don't know.
Bottle
opener for you. Yeah,
Raeburn
it'd have to be a good one.
opener.
Well, Disney did it, so it's foolproof.
Yeah, just copy all of Disney's marketing schemes, you'll be fine.
Wow, my God.
Yeah, they got it going on. But yeah, bands.
Seriously though,
yeah, you gotta get to. You have to have something at least to sell, or else no one's gonna really give a care. I'm fortunate enough with the album stickers. I just say take one. The album's been out for a while. You can stream the damn thing anyway. So, yeah.
MacBook Pro, because they're on your MacBook. Or?
Yeah. Actually, the best part about the stickers too is I had a friend who sent me a snap. He's in Calgary, and he was taking a piss at a urinal, but on top of the urinal was a Raeburn sticker.
Yeah.
And he took a photo, and then like someone tried to like peel it off, but it was a good sticker, so it like just like
good, the shitty one.
Good, but
that you can never remove.
Yeah, what you said was counterproductive because like a good sticker,
it was
it's like the plastic top that would come off in one piece.
Yeah, it's still there. Love it. Yeah, it's like kind of torn, but yeah, decent sticker. But anyways, stickers are fun. Pins are good. Tattoos if you're crazy.
Yeah.
So what's the music scene looking like in Saskatoon? Like, who are you into?
It's great. I love the music scene here. Everyone's really supportive of each other. Everyone's super talented. I really love Taylor Jade's music. She's phenomenal. Phenomena. She's a phenomenal singer-songwriter. The Garys are wonderful. My friend John he plays in a project called Hollow Oaks, which is really good. I recorded his album that came out last year. All my friends are musicians, and they're all putting out stuff and doing amazing things. I can't say enough good things.
We're not his friends.
Like, just pick up a guitar.
All my friends are musicians. Okay, setting that line in the sand. Just kidding.
No. But everyone's doing something musical these days in Saskatoon, and it's great.
Is there like a little like mini like if a small band were to decide like I want to go take my music on tour, is there like a known circuit or like a path well traveled that local artists will take, like certain cities that they'll go hit?
I feel like if you're, I don't know, I just went on a little mini tour with my other band, Ancient Pig, and we did a little just weekend tour to Calgary, Edmonton, Regina, and then back home. And that's great because what I've noticed oddly about touring is actually Saskatoon is so great for venues. In terms of if you're a musician, the venues here in Saskatoon are great. The sound system, the PA monitors, everything's great in comparison to a lot of other venues outside of Saskatoon. I've noticed. But yeah, if you go past Calgary or Edmonton, it's not really. It's kind of no man's land for a bit. I mean, there's certainly places you can play in BC. But at that point, you're spending a lot of time driving to get to Vancouver. Hopefully if you're going to play there, because that's a fun place to play. But it seems like, Calgary, Edmonton, Regina is the best way to kind of start slow and build a circle, a following, if you will, and then work your way outwards as you get more money, I guess. But yeah. In terms of venues and stuff, that's kind of all on you. If you have someone booking for you, that's awesome. That saves you a lot of stress. But a lot of the time, most bands in Saskatoon just will contact bands that they might like in different cities and try and put a show on together that way.
Has there been like any, sorry, this is another business question, but like, has there been like any part of the food chain in the music industry that hasn't really been affected yet? Like, is there any of like, who's making money in music outside of like big tech companies that are streaming music?
I don't know. It's interesting. I've noticed the turnout for a lot of shows have kind of gotten less and less, but I think that's because of the economy. Just people don't go out as much as they used to and drink as much as they used to, maybe. But that's a good question. I don't think a lot of people are making a lot of money off music. I mean, unless you're playing full packed shows and you have a guaranteed contract or something like that with the venue, or if you're just doing like a door deal where you just get paid by how many heads walk in kind of thing, you can make some decent money. I've made some decent cash doing album release or opening for bands for their album release show kind of thing, and generally those are good turnouts. But I mean, the bar makes the money at the end of the day because everyone spends all their money on booze. So
to make like not to get rich, let's say, but just like to make it,
but to make a living,
a decent income. Does it require luck, or is it more like the people you've seen do it? Like, is it the talent and skill? Is it showmanship? Like, or is it luck? Or is it the hustle? Like, how hard you actually push yourself in front of people?
I think it's luck that meets preparedness and organization. You have to have that, I think. You have to be prepared and organized and well thought out, and you need a stroke of luck too. But
like just the right person.
Yeah, and the right opportunity too. Luck is preparation and opportunity when they meet, for sure. I've definitely met a lot of really interesting and great people to know in the music industry, just from touring, or even photographers too. Photographers are great to know because they have a lot of insight into
wherever their local scene is.
Mm-hmm. And generally they have good repertoire with bands and stuff like that, and then you get photos with it too. If you get a good photographer to go on the road with you or something like that, that'd be the best.
I would do it.
Yeah.
But kids. And a wife.
Yeah.
And obligation.
I think I think like what most bands need a lot these days is a social media manager or someone to do photo and video while on the road, if that's what you're gonna do, because keeping updated with the social media and having fresh photos all the time is great, and of your shows and stuff like that. But then if you're doing video, then you can put a collaboration video of like your tour, or like make a music video out of it.
How about that Rain Wolf, man? Like every photo I see that Jordan puts on his social media is like the most epic photo I have ever seen in my entire life. And it's like that every time. Mm-hmm. And I saw his show too, and his show is exactly like that too.
Surreal. He's such a great guy. So nice.
He's next level, isn't he?
Oh, he scares me. He's so different, and like the guy doesn't drink or smoke or anything. Like he's just
really actually. And like ever or
no,
just
like I don't know about ever, but like ever since I've known him, that guy is like just like clear-headed, very driven, so focused, and like the most humble, sweet, nice guy ever too. Like he listened to my album and sent me a little message too. Like he was like, "Dude, what? Like you're Rain Wolf? Like what? Like that's crazy." But yeah, he's a very solid guy, and it's doing stuff like that in the Saskatchewan community that makes artists want to keep doing what we're doing. Because
is he making a living from it?
For sure. He's got it figured out. Not only is he amazing and talented, but he's definitely got a lot of good people backing him up. And he gets hella good photos taken that, they tell themselves. So, if you have someone that can do that for you, I'm sure that goes a long way. And it certainly has for Jordan Cook. Yeah. He's a good guy.
So what's next for you? Like, what's the path? Are you on the path you want to be on? That 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
What's a 10 out of 10 look like for you in the next 5 years?
I got a lot to plan for. I'm getting married, so I got a wedding to get ready for.
Congratulations.
This year?
2020.
Congrats.
Yeah. So planning that, and then it's funny. Ever since I was, I guess when I was a teenager, I was kind of starting to figure out what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I was taking guitar lessons from, I can't remember his name now, but I consider him probably the greatest guitar player in Saskatoon.
Joel?
Not Grundle.
Is his name Joel?
I did take lessons from Joel Grundle at Long McQuaid. He's insane.
With like the blonde.
Yeah, and he
I
always
took
wears
guitar lessons from him.
Yeah, the Vikings hat always.
Yeah.
He's amazing. He's super
He
talented.
played Cliffs of Dover for me, and I was like, holy shit.
That's awesome.
I didn't know what it was, and then now that I heard him play it, I was like, that's like the most incredible
Joel
song.
Grundle he's incredible. I wish I knew. I can't remember his name now. It's been so long. But anyways,
Mentor to you though?
He mentored me when I was learning jazz guitar, and he lived. And I remember my dad told me, he's like, do you really want to like do music for the rest of your life? Like, this guy is the greatest guitar player for sure in Saskatoon, and he lives in a very small house, and he's not really well off, kind of thing. And I thought, fuck yeah, like. This guy, he's got it made. He owns his own house. He can play guitar in his own home. I was like, that's sweet. That's awesome. I would love to do that. And I do that. I'm fortunate enough where I have a studio in my front living room. So every day I walk downstairs and I just see like my drum kit waiting for me, or my all my guitars and amps and stuff. And I'm like, it's empowering. So yeah, what I see myself doing in the next 5 years is just being pretty chill, making music, and just living. Yeah, I don't know. I'm very easygoing. Maybe that's not the best way to go about it.
I'm not. I think you should live according to you. So is that your 10?
Yeah. Just keep doing what I'm doing, I guess. 10 out of 10. Just wish I would like to be making a living off music, though. Maybe more. That'd be nice. Yeah. But you got to pay to play, You got to put in your time.
Mm-hmm.
That could be a long time.
But do you feel like either way it's worth the...
For sure.
I feel like that's a difference between some people. Like, they could be resentful if it doesn't go their way. But it seems like you are okay with whatever option.
Success or failure, it's like I'm still happy doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I have great friends and people in my life. I've had many amazing opportunities from playing music. Last year, my band played at Sled Island in Calgary, and I opened for this band called Wand, which I highly recommend. They're incredible. They're my heroes. And I never thought in my wildest dream I'd ever see them, let alone get to open for them. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, and like there's just moments like that where I'm like, yeah, everything has been worth it, even if it's been stressful at times, or not very financially beneficial, especially when you pay for all your own equipment. But
Because guitars are like a few $100s, eh?
I have 13.
If you had like $100 each, that could be $1,300 for all 13 of them.
Yeah, I made.
Making a joke.
You could, $1,300
for 13 guitars.
Yeah, $100 each.
That's like a month's income.
Yeah,
part time.
Yeah.
2 weeks of work.
Yeah.
That's if you can sell
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
How come used guitars are always so, like when you want to make, like when you need to sell a guitar used, it's never worth what you pay.
Right? I don't know. It's kind of like a Porsche where, it's so nice when you get into it and you buy it there, but then as soon as you drive it off the lot, it's just not the same. I don't know. Yeah. You guys gonna play some instruments for me?
I didn't bring my. I did bring my clarinets.
Yeah. Just kidding. Yeah. Here's my recorder. Let's do it.
Played organ for 8 years.
Did you?
Yeah. Won a couple trophies.
Was it a family organ?
Yeah, like a Technics.
You didn't buy it yourself?
My parents bought it. I did it as like a kid.
Is that worth like $400? Like that's what you would have to pay to have
a mover
somebody
to take it. Yeah,
take it out.
It was the size of like an upright piano, and it used discs, and you could program it. It was like a Technics brand or Technic brand.
Those are probably
what a
expensive.
burden.
My parents paid.
What a terrible burden that would be to have in your house.
My parents got like just got a deal, and they paid 10 grand or so with tax, brand new in 1996.
But that's the thing. It was a different economy, like 10 grand back then.
That's a lot of money.
That is a lot. But
that was like the family thing, and like my parents never put us in sports for whatever reason, and it was like,
Isn't that sad? The organ sales guy has probably gone out of business. Like there's no more
the Yamaha
commissions.
piano shop on Broadway is done.
Well, it was the Techniques Academy of Music, and I think it's just the Academy of Music on like First Ave.
Oh yeah.
So they were like by Honda, Midel Honda, and they had a showroom and then lessons, and
yeah,
it's I'm sure pianos are even like, yeah, you said Yamaha's closed down. Like,
Yeah.
Long and McQuaid bought out Mother's Music.
There used to be Underdog Music too. That's done.
I feel like it's kind of funny. I feel like even skateboarding is very similar. Like when I was a kid, skateboarding now isn't what it used to be. Like skateboarding when we were kids was like, everybody could kickflip. Like that wasn't anything. And now it's like longboarding and stuff. And it's like,
These kids don't know how to kickflip.
Kids don't want to hurt themselves anymore.
like underground and
yeah.
9 times of the shops that I went
Undergrind.
to.
And,
Undergrind.
9 times.
No, I didn't go to Undergrind. What was the one on Broadway?
Closed Cafe.
That's where I got a couple of my decks, but
I got a few decks there too.
I feel like just like the scene was never that big, and then it went away, but now it's like kind of back. But like I feel like music could be a similar thing, like where just the right niche of people.
It's so weird now, but like the other day I was at Primal having dinner and I was sitting there and I don't know if it was Kanye West or something like that, but a song came on and I kid you not.
So you're gonna say he was sitting there?
And he was sitting there, and
Kanye.
And the lyrics went, "Boop-dee scoopy doopity boop, scoopity boopity," or something like that. I shit you not. It was just like, it was beyond me.
It's like so disrespectful to the audience.
Yeah,
like,
and
I can do literally anything I want, and you idiots will listen.
You'll eat it up, and you'll say it's good. And I think there's a huge problem with people just blindly following people blindly buying people's music because they're simply popular on social media, or they have a huge following.
But is it bad, or is it like just
it's
like
not?
I feel like
bad
it's
art.
this portrait of society where everybody wants to fit in and no one wants to stand out. So even the music you like anytime I play music, around this guy, he's like teasing me about it. And I'm like, at least I'm old enough where I like don't give a shit if he likes it or not. I'm like, I still like it.
Oh man.
And like
I play some bad stuff for people that like I love, and people are like, "What are you doing to me?" Like not terrible, but things that I'm like, this is really interesting because it's very far out, and they're like, "No, this is unpleasant." But yeah.
Well, that was fun. We didn't even get to talking about him being on the radio, so. We're gonna do that next time.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Sure.
Yeah. Well, we did really well. I think this was great.
Is the show over?
Yeah. We're trying to.
Yeah, you have a minute. You have a minute.
Let's
we have
do
a
it.
minute 30 left.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about
the radio.
Well, let's talk about your album. Like, tell us a little bit more about it. Like,
where are people going to find you? Tell us about your album.
Yeah, okay. Bongo Dracula is out now worldwide on all streaming media platforms. You can find it on Spotify, Google, not YouTube yet. I still have to upload that. See, that's the problem. Yeah, I gotta get someone to do that for me. And it's got a lot of different vibes. It's kind of chill. It's got a little bit of jazz influence, a lot of fuzz. And it's a weird, fun album. It's kind of quirky. And the front cover is me dressed up as a monkey on Halloween, and my best friend as Dracula. I had a pet monkey named Bongo. I had a pet stuffed animal monkey named Bongo, and so I dressed up as Bongo for Halloween, and my friend was Dracula. So that's where I got the title.
Okay, we're gonna link to that when we share this video. So
cool. I'll send you a link.
Maxwell,
Matt, Dustin, thanks for having me on the show.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah. This is great.
And
scene.